thin view of the God of the Bible. Now you understand why I believe a theology of brokenness is desperately needed today. A theology that exalts the preeminence of God while underscoring His mercy and compassion to the frail and broken-hearted. It's why I am so excited about the book you are listening to now. Disability in the Gospel provides exactly what the Church needs today. I first met the author, Michael Bades, at a Reformed theology conference in 1992, and then, in the summer of 1993, at a family retreat that our ministry holds for special needs families. Mike and Mary brought their 5 children, including Jessica, their daughter with multiple disabilities. We struck up a conversation one afternoon, and right away I liked this man. I learned about his love for Reformed theology and his passion to preserve the integrity of God's Word, yet he didn't come across aloof and academic. Mike explained that years of raising his disabled daughter had softened his edges. Here was a student of God's Word who didn't live in an ivory tower, but in a real world with real pain. I could wax on about Michael's theological background, teaching experience, and degrees, but what I want you to mostly know about him is his zeal for Christ and his deep desire to reach families affected by disability with gospel hope. It's why he's helped us deliver wheelchairs around the world to needy disabled people, serving with us in Africa and Eastern Europe. As our ministry grew, I realized we needed someone like Mike to serve as a watchdog, helping to keep our theological underpinnings secure. So I asked him to serve on the International Board of Directors of Joni and Friends in 2000. And I wish I could adequately express how happy I am about his new book, Disability and the Gospel. Because there are thousands of families like the Bades family and millions of people like me, whose disabilities force hard-hitting questions about God and the Church. What does a pastor say when disability hits a family in his congregation broadside? How do Christian education directors respond when autism becomes a serious matter in the classroom? How does the Church get engaged with issues that impact our culture, like physician-assisted suicide? What does it take to get a congregation to recognize its weaker members as indispensable? In short, how do we grab the Church by its shoulders and shake some sense into it about glorying in our infirmities? This excellent resource by Michael Bades gives solid answers to tough questions like these and more. It is my heartfelt prayer that you will take the insights in disability and the gospel and use them as a guide and resource for your church family. And don't be surprised if you see a sudden outbreak of heaven-sent power ripple through your life and the life of your congregation. For God's power always shows up best in brokenness. And you don't have to break your neck to believe it. Joni Eareckson Tada, Joni and Friends, International Disability Center. Introduction. I will never forget that day in the summer of 1982. Toting our 3-month-old daughter to the doctor because she was sick, the last thing my wife Mary and I expected was that our lives would be changed forever, and our souls indelibly marked with the wounds of pain and dreams that died. Our daughter Jessica would eventually be diagnosed with a unique chromosomal anomaly. At conception, or within the first few cell divisions, something occurred with her 8th chromosome, and this, along with other physical anomalies, maybe related, maybe not, meant that she would go through this life disabled, seriously and profoundly, unable ever to talk, walk, or care for herself in a meaningful and self-determinative way. Our daughter Jessica did not die, and though there have been times when we thought she might, she is still here as I write this in 2011. But in all honesty, I will admit to you, it would have been so much easier in many ways if she had. That is not something you can say out loud in most churches, but it is the brutal truth.